Good morning and welcome to Preston Super Show. We are live talking about all things cool with your host, Preston Olson. And today is another bitter cold day. And you wake up and you just want everything to go right. So you make your coffee and there's two options. We got this medium coffee, which I'm not a fan of. We got the dark coffee, which I'm a big fan of. And here's the thing. The first cup of coffee is the most important cup. If that doesn't strike you as good, it's over for that day. There's no coming back to it. So our good friends in China are back up to their dirty tricks. And here we are with an article out of the Science Times written by Margaret Davis. This is about China building their artificial moon. And they're basically running experiments on this artificial moon. The article goes on to read that scientists in China have built an artificial moon that simulates gravity on the lunar surface to help them prepare for further space exploration missions. It also stimulates the lunar landscape, complete with rocks and dust with the same mass as those found on the moon. Here we are, present day America, where we can't get stimulus to our people. We can't help the homeless off the street. We don't have a great plan. So here's China moving in a direction that many people didn't see possible coming out of COVID, and they're already back at it. China plans to send astronauts to the lunar surface by 2030 and set up a base in collaboration with Russia. So they are bypassing America. They are sidestepping the world and saying, you all are too slow. You all are too dumb. We're better than you. We're going to create our own base with Russia. Everybody wants to know how this works, and the article goes on to describe that for us. Mail Online reported that the artificial moon uses very strong magnetic fields to levitate a 2-foot room in a vacuum chamber where the air is not present. The effect is called diamagnetic levitation, in which an external magnetic field is applied to atoms. So this is very advanced. This is more advanced than me. So, with that being said, an interesting note about this that I've picked up out of this article for you, kind of a nugget here. They're really pushing 3D printing. They want 3D printing to be possible on the moon. The reason they want that is because it's going to help them save cost on sending heavy equipment. And for people that are going to live there permanently, that this is a plan of theirs, they want these technologies supporting that, building the structures and the foundations for homes and what have you on the moon. So you and I, the listener, we're not stupid people. We know Putin is ex-KGB. He doesn't play by the rules. He completely works outside of the rules that we have in our own country, because over there it's lawless. The only law is his, and they rule with an iron fist. And see, we're free to talk about those things in our country. Over there, you're not. So it's a big difference. But we know what's coming. Russia is going to invade Ukraine. We know it's coming. They didn't put 100,000 Russian troops on the border of Ukraine, reported by the Wall Street Journal by Vivian Salama, James Marson, and Alex Leary. This article was put together. What will Biden do? Well, that's going to be a difficult question, because what will the European Union do, in a sense? our allies in the European Union aren't lead foots. They don't have their foot on the gas. They're not holding the pedal down, trying to get this taken care of. They're threatening sanctions. But what does Russia care about sanctions when, in a way, they're already getting a bad deal from most countries, besides China and a few others in the Middle East. Russia's not getting a great deal from us. They're not getting a great deal from Canada. They're not getting a great deal from anywhere in Europe. So what exactly do they care about sanctions? So it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors. So we have this, they're showing you the satellite images of Russia's military buildup near Ukraine. This has got to be one of the most disturbing things going on today, where we pretty much have to sit helpless and wait to see what happens. We have this mentality of no new wars, no more war. But see, Russia doesn't carry that sentiment. Russia doesn't care about stopping war. Russia is pursuing war. So we're looking to be able to put weapons in Ukraine. But the problem with that is, once Russia moves in, then they seize those weapons. Now we pretty much armed the Russians for their aggression, and that's something that's being overlooked. What else can you do at this point? It has gotten out of hand. We have President Biden, who has not gotten a hand on this, who has really no handle for what is going on in our own country, let alone what's going on in Ukraine. His best buddy, his best friend, Obama, former president, had this same problem pop up in Crimea, where they didn't get on top of it early. They didn't address it early. They threatened sanctions. Oh, we'll give them some weapons. It all turned into nothing. This time, Russia senses a weak Western world. They sense a weakness in America. They sense a weakness in all of the West, not just America, but all of the West. Okay? So while they're pursuing their ambitions, so to close out today's program, talking about the Supreme Court basically sending the Texas abortion case back to the state, and in a way ducking this. And this comes from NPR by Nina Tottenberg, and there's a couple highlights in this article. So it goes on to read, the Supreme Court has once again let the lower courts delay in addressing a Texas law that for 4 months has made abortion in the state illegal after 6 weeks of pregnancy. And they have, the NPR does a good job of putting the opinion into the article without calling it an op-ed. So appeals court judge Edith Jones, this is a lower court judge, openly pretty much said that, look, we should just sit on this until the end of June, when the Supreme Court renders its decision about Roe versus Wade from the challenge it's received in Mississippi. And see, that really pissed off the abortion rights groups. It sent their heads, to the moon. They were beside themselves, because they can't get over the 6 conservative majority in the Supreme Court. But that's just the way that the chips have fallen. And the Supreme Court is, in a way, our last line of defense from a total radical regime that the Biden and Kamala Harris regime is, that works completely in the shadows. As you see, you never see Kamala, completely silent. Breyer, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, hardcore liberal judges are very, very angry about this. That this was sent back and not addressed, but I believe it, again, the court needed to do this and get this sent back, because while that case is playing out about Roe versus Wade, and they're deciding whether to reverse its 50-year-old abortion precedent, this need not be taken up until then, because there has to be the principle set. You know what I mean? Nothing's been set yet. All we know is that, yes, abortions are legal, but now what are we questioning? We're questioning when the abortions can take place. Can they happen after 6 weeks? Can they happen when there's a heartbeat? And see, a lot of states have made their heartbeat bills and said no. Am I against abortion? That's a hard question to ask. I could really answer that question with another question. Is it personal responsibility for one to control their own body and their own urges? Or is it a victim mentality and a victim mindset that you have to support abortion? Because I understand in the case of incest, in the case of rape, that there should be a way for these people to have an abortion. I think it boils down to mental health with abortions. I think this needs to be looked at in a different light. That's my personal opinion. You have to have a heart for people who have gone through some difficult things and can't, birth this child. They've just decided. But see, I think those decisions need to happen early. I don't think those decisions need to come 4 months after being pregnant. I think those decisions need to come before 4 months and before 3 months of pregnancy. That is my opinion. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I can only tell you, based on my environment and my experiences with people, seeing people, knowing of people who have had a miscarriage, or knowing of people who have gone to get an abortion,